Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Casey. Hope everybody's having a great Saturday. It is a beautifully cool, overcast day here in the mountains. And as usual, this is another Saturday afternoon rant for you. I'm down here at Washington Rock in Appalachia, Virginia. And as usual, I would encourage you, if you are an outdoorsy person, you like to camp and fish and hunt and hike and all that, come check out Southwest Virginia, Appalachia, Big Stone Gap, Wise, Norton, all those surrounding areas, because it's just a fucking gorgeous area for all that. So enough on that. I wanted to rant to you guys for a minute and give you some updates, as usual, on upcoming episodes of Above the Noise. But really what I wanted to rant about today was honestly the same kind of stuff I rant about all the time, and just the sheer importance of healing your inner traumas, changing that subconscious programming, and the importance of us reconnecting authentically as individuals and human beings with ourselves and each other. I have a lot of activist friends. And I used to be big into activism myself, and I used to be pushing for revolution and hoping for revolution and all those kind of things, and speaking truth to power and taking on the system and calling out just the bullshit. And there's a lot of you doing that, and your lives have very much become defined on that. And I know that a lot of you are feeling hopeless in a way. Perhaps you're feeling the weight of the world, and I feel like in the last year or so, really, I've witnessed this almost a division. I don't even want to use the word division because it has such negative connotations to it, but almost like, I'm going to go ahead and use it, this division amongst activists. And I've seen this split almost where people that used to be very vocal activists and vocal about those things, they've kind of, like myself, have quieted down about those things, and we very much shifted to inner work and personal work and encouraging that stuff. And then there's this other split that is still very much involved in speaking truth to power and all that, and you feel like you're beating your head against a wall, and I wonder sometimes, when you're using social media to speak the truth to power, like, are you existing within an echo chamber? Like, are you preaching those things and talking about those things to people that already agree with you? Or are you like preaching to the choir, or are you really reaching people? And I feel like now it's just really not the time for that anymore. The speaking truth to power. I mean, I don't want to discourage people from doing that because it serves its purpose, but I feel like in the information age, and until we really heal our minds and unplug them from this matrix of manipulation that the system has had us in for decades and decades and decades, nothing's really going to change. Like, we don't change things. They want us to believe, and they have led us to believe that we change things from the top down. That's why we've been so wrapped up in fucking politics and government and all that shit for so long, and we've been playing that game with them, this whole election game. It's a fucking game, guys. There's no real legitimacy to that shit anymore. It is bought off. It is paid for. Corporations, they support both sides of the aisle, so they win either way. And if, once they allowed Citizens United and big money into politics, that was the end of anything legit in election cycles and anything like that. And that's just my personal feelings on it. And it's just the fucking truth. But they want us to believe that we change things from the top down. And that's how we've been trying to do things our whole lives. And I just want to really encourage you guys, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's not how we change things. They've only wanted us to believe that's how we change things because you can't really change things that way, and they don't want us to really change things. We change things from the bottom up. Guys, they haven't affected us from the top down. They didn't start manipulating our minds and hijack our brains and programmed our brains when we were adults, and then it goes down. No, they started when we were kids, It starts in the womb with our parents and their programming, and all this kind of stuff. So, like, the manipulation would have started when we were kids, and it's gone up. And that's how we have to change it. We have to change it from the bottom up, not from the top down. We have to change ourselves, because if we don't, we're never going to, I have activist friends, and they get passionate about the fact that nobody has vision. Like, even activists, like, we all want to do something and we all want to see this change. And for so long, people talk about revolution. Like I don't know what people really expect with revolution, because even for Casey, for me personally, this notion of storming Capitol buildings or some idea of revolution that we've read about in history books, like that's like gonna work, seems silly to me, and a very, very old mindset in itself that that's gonna work. Like, really, guys? Like, you're gonna take on a government with drones and shit and think you're gonna have any kind of an effect? You're not. You're not. It's going to take everybody. It's going to take you changing. We change ourselves individually, which influences our children and changes them and their minds, and influences our family around us. And that's how we change. We ripple out from a single pebble of you. You are that single pebble. You are one pebble. I'm one pebble. And when we drop ourselves in that water, that sea of change of ourselves, that shit ripples out. We know what happens when you drop a pebble in water. It ripples out. And that's just one pebble. Now imagine if you drop my pebble, your pebble, everybody else's pebble. Imagine if we dropped 1 billion pebbles into the sea of change at one time. Well, that's a lot of ripples, guys. And ripples turn into waves. And those waves is what creates change. Not voting or encouraging people at the top to do something, because they're not going to. Like, they're the reason why it's where it's at now. Like, quit looking to them. Just stop. Stop participating in it. Because this whole system that we live under, and the reason it's perpetuated and it exists, is because we support it and we believe in it. You know what I mean? And even when we don't believe in it, we still support it, because it's such a vast system and has been just created over generations and generations that we have no choice. Like, even the activists out there, you know, like, we can want to pull away from the system and not participate in it, but you can't. You know, no more than I was talking the other day, and I'm talking about AI and dataism and all these things and them collecting data. It's like, get rid of your phone and your devices then, but the reality is you can't, because it's just not that good. They're essential anymore, you know. And I encourage people in the past, you know, it's like, you want a revolution, quit spending money, because that, you know, your words and your videos and your links, the people at the top don't give a fuck. They're not seeing your YouTube links or your articles or my live feed or your live feed or your TikToks or your Reels or your YouTube shorts. They're not seeing that shit. People like us, average, normal people, we're the ones that see that shit. But the people at the top aren't. So quit begging them to do a fucking thing, and quit wasting your time on it. Quit giving it your energy. Quit believing in it. Because you don't affect change, and you don't change existing paradigms by fighting against them. You change them by creating something that makes them obsolete. And because of this digital age we live in, if we can really reconnect, guys, again, the most important skill I feel like we've had, it's been voiced to me by people smarter than me, that know about and have far more insight into this digital age we're moving into than I do. And they would all encourage you, the most important skill we can have going forward in this digital age, in this age of AI and machine learning and dataism, is human connection. It's being able to connect with each other authentically, because that's how we create vision. Guys, if we're trapped in this noise and we can't get above it, and we're constantly lying to ourselves, and we can't see the forest for the trees because we're so wrapped up in the stress of our lives, the stress of our personal lives, our work lives, our bills, and just all that shit, how can you find vision in that? I mean, you might find some sort of vision, but it's not really going to go anywhere other than like what we know. And so that's why we have to change our understanding of the world as it exists. We have to change and elevate our understanding of the power that we actually have as human beings, with our heart and our mind and our breath and our voices and our creativity and our imagination, and nothing else. And the system that we live under has worked really, really hard to suppress that and keep you believing otherwise, and to keep you believing that you need it. And we don't. In the reality of life on this planet, we do not need these governments. We do not need these systems that are in place. At one point, we did. They've been hijacked and just used to manipulate us and not support the growth and well-being of the human race and species on this planet, or any other living species for that matter. It just doesn't. And Casey, myself, I am 100% firm believer in anarchy. Like, I'm a straight up anarchist, and I don't mean anarchy and an anarchist in the way that this system has wanted to market it and sell it to you on t-shirts and movies and bumper stickers as if anarchy is just do whatever the fuck you want, chaos, because that is not what anarchy is. It isn't. That is what this capitalist system has sold to you, and it has sold it to you to scare people away from the notion of anarchy. It wants you to think that anarchy is total chaos, so people don't support the idea of it, and they become scared of it. Anarchy, like in its reality and what it's really about, and if you read any old anarchy papers, it's about community support. Anarchy is not do whatever you want. Anarchy is no leaders, no masters. And the only way that society can function without leaders or masters or a government system is if we're supporting each other. Anarchy doesn't say, if you need food, go fucking steal it and do whatever you want. No, anarchy says, if the dude down the street doesn't have enough food to feed his family, the community comes together to make sure that he has enough food to feed his family so that it doesn't need a system to support it. That's anarchy. That's anarchy. It's community support. I'm a firm believer in that, and I believe that we're moving into a world where that can become very possible. Should we choose to change the direction of what we believe in, what we support, and what we want to see? Because again, like, energy flows where focus goes. And if you're constantly focused on the doom and gloom trajectory that the system is feeding us and wants you to fear, you are feeding it. And you're making your decisions in life based on that fear, and fear is unhealthy. It releases unhealthy brain chemicals, cortisol, all kinds of shit that's really bad for you based on that fear of what may or may not come to pass. The control is in our hands. It always has been. It always has been. It still is. It's even more in our hands with the advent of technology and digital everything, guys. Like, it's an exciting time. It's a scary time, but it's exciting. And so again, just to wrap up this rant, and I didn't even get to above the noise shit, and I'm not even going to worry about it. Check it out Tuesday. It's going to be a great episode, and I'm really going to get deeper into how we can gain back control of our creativity, the monetization and collection of our data, and how we can regain control of that, utilize it for ourselves, and support each other without the need of third-party apps and services and all of that stuff that are just skimming off the top. Like, we just don't need it. Like, we're very much in an age of direct communication, direct support, and all that. We just have to step into it. We just have to step into it. We have to step out of this old paradigm and step into the new paradigm as much as we possibly can as it exists right now. Because if you just keep straddling it, you're going to get run over, or you're going to fall off and get flattened. Like I said, it's not going to work. Like, we have to quit straddling. Either you're on board with this current paradigm for as long as it lasts, which from my perspective and my predictions, we got about 5-6 years, guys, in this current paradigm that we're living in, and this capitalist society, and the way we know life is going to be very different. And so, like, keep that in perspective when you're planning your future. Like, that's just the reality. That's not talk. That's not some hyped up shit. That's reality. I mean, that's reality. That's across the board. Any experts, anybody. I mean, it's very much that time. Step into the new possibilities. Don't be scared of them. Look at them, how they can help your life, how they can just improve things for the better, and focus on you, and focus on your family, and focus on undoing the things that the system has done to you personally in your mind, that you have projected out to your loved ones, to your family, to your coworkers, to your community, and everybody around you. And focus on that. Focus on that, because they are focusing on manipulating it and controlling you. Whether you're fighting, the more you're fighting against that system, it wants you fighting against it. It wants you speaking truth to power all the time and getting upset and just spending all your energy in that place of anger and frustration, because it's manipulating you when you do it. And the more you fuel that negativity and that negative projection of what the system's doing to us, the more you're actually yourself promoting that fear in others. Like, you're if you're not careful, you just become a tentacle for the machine, promoting fear yourself. And I know that's not what you want to do or what you're trying to do. You have to find a place to take things on and approach those things from a place of love, because any other emotion, trying to change anything from any other emotion other than love, is not going to have the outcome that you think it's going to have. Even anger and frustration, nothing good ever is changed or comes from that. Like, anger and frustration is almost a baser emotion, but as you go up, being sad and depressed and completely apathetic is a really low emotion. But if you've come out of the apathy and that just complacency, and now you're angry and you're passionately angry at the system, well, that's elevated. Anger is an elevated emotion from nothing. But you have to you have to move it past the anger and frustration, because you can't make wise decisions. People can't, you just can't. I mean, think about your life, and everything you've done in anger hasn't really played out well for you. You have to keep elevating that up from a place of love. And when you get to a place of love and you want to change a system from a place of love, I think for me personally, is how I got to that place of I'm not screaming at the system anymore. I'm not talking to the system. I'm not talking about politicians or any. I'm talking to people like you and me. They're just average people, because that's what love tells me to do. Love tells me that's how I'm going to affect change in the system. It's just to spread love and encourage people to love themselves, love their lives, and all that, because the ripples happen individually. Again, change does not happen from the top down. It happens from the bottom up. We grow from a fetus to an infant, to a child, to a teenager, to a young adult, to an adult, to elderhood. We grow upwards, not downwards and not backwards. You know what I mean? And nothing goes backwards, guys. We're only moving forward. And as long as you keep talking about and keep focusing on what's happened, where we're at, and how we got here, that's all we're going to be, and that's the only place we're going to stay. And we're not going to be able to regain control of the trajectory that we're on, which is what we need to do. And so, guys, that's enough for the ranting today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. If you're local, please go down and check out Black Bear. There is live music tonight, as always, on Saturday night. And to be honest, I can't remember who it is, but it's probably somebody good, because we only have good music around here. Like, seriously. So anyway, guys, I love you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please share this, like this, spread the word, give yourselves a hug, get the people around you hugs, and just stop believing the lies of the system, the lies that you're telling yourself, and all that, and just love, and be grateful for everything that you have, because gratitude is the greatest medicine that there is, next to laughter. And if you exist in a place of gratitude, the system cannot bring you down. It only brings you down because you're letting it. Stop letting it. Stop fighting against it. Just love. Just love. I want to tell you to go love the system, but that would sound fucked up and almost counter to everything else. But love. Just love. So, guys, have a great day. I'll see you Tuesday night, if not sooner. Have a great day.